Deltarune is well known for its many mysteries. The community has had 4 years to come up with theories like, who got the Spamton body pillow, and can I have it? But what theories seem the most plausible? Are there any that really stick out among the rest? Well, in this video, we'll be ranking 15 Deltarune theories to see if they could actually be true. Anyway, let's begin. Chris is the knight. This was the conclusion everyone and their grandma came to when seeing Chapter 2's ending. And while it's confirmed Chris is the knight of Chapter 3, there's not much evidence suggesting he made the previous 2 Dark Worlds. And if he did, why hasn't anyone recognized him? He only knows how to make a Dark Fountain because of Queen's explanation, and I seriously doubt he'd be the knight of every chapter moving forward. There's only so many heists he can pull before he gets caught. This is going in disproven. 7 days, 7 nights. This theory suggests that the knight of each chapter is an entirely different person. I do think it's way too early to start guessing who the knight is, but for what we have right now, there's some pretty interesting points here. Okay, but I don't know about Burger Pan. I highly recommend watching Cammy Boy's video on it. This will go in possible. Rouses' betrayal. This is a really common theory shared around the community, but honestly, there's very little evidence suggesting that my gay little man would be evil. Sure, he might have some ulterior motives, but I doubt it's anything substantial to the point of hurting Chris and Susie. Here's my interpretation. He only acts weird sometimes because he's following the script of the game. As he says during the boat ride, he doesn't know how to be himself and has only ever lived for the prophecy. I think Rouses' arc will revolve more around his self-identity and finding himself rather than being evil. Also, Rouse being a twist villain would be super lame. This will go in unlikely. The same sands. The sands from Undertale and the sands from Deltarune could be one and the same. His appearance hasn't changed unlike everyone else. He also winks at you when you say it's good to see you again. He bones your mom. And Grillby's is the exact same building from Snowden. We could be looking too deep into this and it's just a meta humor joke. It honestly doesn't matter in the long run. I doubt Sans is going to be that important in this game, but I still want to believe it's true. This will go in very possible. Woody theory. Spooky Dude made a crack theory that somehow makes complete sense. So you know Woody from Toy Story. He plays an important part here. The Deltarune newsletter talks about this elusive western cowboy themed area, but Toby makes it clear this section was actually cancelled. Or was it? Let's take a look at the wording of this sentence. That's just how cowboy shows go, I guess. What the hell does that mean? Well, dear viewer, it all relates to Sheriff Woody and his cancelled TV show. Deltarune's Chapter 3 Secret Boss is a parody on Woody, and it explains Toby's fixation on his Toy Story fan song, Friend Inside Me, which is kind of a crazy thing to say. I won't spoil too much, so please go check out Spooky Dude's video on this theory for more context. I'm gonna say screw it, this goes in confirmed. Suck my cheeks, this section is not cancelled. Protagonism theory. This theory suggests that everyone's favorite character, W.D. Gaster, is the developer for Deltarune. Gaster connects us to this world, as seen from the Goner Maker intro. He talks about Deltarune as a game dev would, and anytime there was news about the game, it was spoken through Gaster. The secret bosses would obviously go insane if they're interacting with the developer. This theory talks about how you, Chris, and Gaster are all linked together. It would take a while to explain this whole theory, so I encourage you to check out Sank's video on the topic. This goes in very possible. Winter Wonderland. We all know the Christmas song Winter Wonderland, or at least I hope. The song's lyrics coincide perfectly with Chapter 2's weird route. Gone Away is the Bluebird relates perfectly to how Birdie fucking dies in a car accident. The song's all about marriage during Christmas, and during the weird route there's tons of marriage and relationship symbolism between Noel and Chris, albeit a very abusive relationship. There's also the fact Noel is a very Christmas themed character. I really like this theory. It matches up well with how Toby likes to reference things. This will go in very possible. Fenrichs Tea theory is all about the tea item in Chapter 2's Cyber City. Each flavor of tea is named after a party member, and they all have unique dialogue reactions and healing effects, depending on whose tea they drink. While Chris's tea heals Rouse for 120, Rouse tea only heals Chris for 50. That's a little fucked up, Chris. This theory delves into the relationship between Chris and Rouse and how one-sided their friendship is. This is more or less proven through other scenes. When Susie asks who you'll take to the fair, Chris makes it obvious Rouse wasn't his first choice. And I think it all has to do with those scenes where Rouse tries to remove the player from the conversation. This is much less of a theory and more of a general statement, so it'll go unconfirmed. The Depths. The Depths is a layer below the Dark Worlds. It holds pure darkness, and pure darkness is what's needed to create a dark world. Thus, stabbing into the ground would be an option to make one, although too much pure darkness could eventually cause the roaring. This theory suggests we might end up traveling through the depths at some point in the game, and it probably has something to do with this whack-ass bunker Gaster's been camping in for 6 years. I like this theory a lot. This will go unconfirmed. Where is Des? This theory from the Soft claims that due to the lack of urgency with Des's disappearance, it's assumed she ran away to escape her overbearing mother, eventually somehow ending up in the depths. If we rip open the game, we can see someone calling for help in a really dark place, and the common consensus is that this is Des. It low-key probably is, unless Toby decides to change it last second. How did she get there? Well, Gaster. The theory claims he has access to pure dark fountains with evidence from entry 17 backing this up. So maybe Des ran away to the bunker and Gaster sent her into the depths? Although I do like this theory, it's way too early to assume anything about Des. We know next to nothing about her. All we know is that she plays the banjo. There's not much conclusive evidence you can pull from. So this theory goes in unlikely. Chris is dead. What? This theory claims there are pieces of evidence that may suggest Chris is actually dead. Chris walks around like a corpse, and he's referred to as sick or pale a lot. So then, how does he walk around without a soul? Well, Chris might still have determination left in his body to move. As we've seen Plowy? Who the fuck? As we've seen Flowey save and load without any soul. How exactly would Chris have died? This is where the theory goes off the rails. The Soft suggests Gaster was the one to kill Chris and use his body as a vessel. A lot of the Soft's videos involve Gaster just murking someone, and it's low-key pretty great. It doesn't make any sense, as Gaster lets you make a vessel in the Goner Maker, which promptly gets deleted by either Chris or Kara or whoever. I doubt Gaster intended for the vessel's deletion, but I'm still putting this in disproven. Genocide timeline. This theory suggests that the soul in Deltarune is the same soul from Undertale's Genocide route. At the end of the Genocide route, your soul gets taken from you by Kara. The theory adds onto this by claiming Kara created the Deltarune world. Why? Well, to relive their childhood with Asriel. Basically, Kara gets reborn as Chris. This whole theory kind of disregards Gaster's involvement. Yeah, I know, I've said Gaster a lot, and he's back. Fucking love Gaster, guys. But he's more widely seen as Deltarune's creator. We've seen almost nothing about Kara implied in Deltarune other than Chris himself. Toby was already iffy around the connection between Deltarune and Undertale, but something this drastic seems very unlikely. But honestly, for a theory 3 years ago, it's not that bad. The Universal Mother. This theory claims Queen is representative of every main character's mother based on how she interacts with each character individually. When Noel lashes out at Queen, she's lashing out because Queen is acting just like her mom would. Overbearing and restrictive. Queen's interactions with Chris mirror Toriel's ignorance of his feelings. Even Birdly, it could be implied he's neglected and forgotten by his parents through his interactions with Queen. Honestly good, fuck this guy. Overall, I really like this theory. Go check out Kooky914's video on the topic. This will go in very possible. Noel or Rouse. The Noel or Rouse theory claims that Chris and Susie will eventually have to choose who they want to keep with them. You could either banish the Angel's Heaven with Rouse, or go against that prophecy by helping Noel spread the darkness and keep the Angel's Heaven. Gay femboy or shy rich girl? Decisions. The only thing disproving this is the fact that Toby stated there's only one ending, and to have a change this drastic would make it heavily unlikely to happen, especially if it's going to be towards the end game. Mystic Slime made a video covering this theory, but the actual creator only has their Tumblr page. I'll link both in the description. This theory goes impossible. The darkness provides. This theory, as the title claims, says that the Dark Worlds are created to solve ongoing problems within troubled characters, like how Susie became a better person after Chapter 1, or how Chapter 2 helped both Noel and Birdly. But how does the Dark World help Chris? He's remained stagnant throughout all of it. Well, the theory goes on to claim that Rouse has an important part in helping Chris. Once we take over Chris's body, he loses everything about his identity. He's an outcast in the light world, but in the dark world, Rouse gives him a sense of purpose. He makes Chris the leader, and Rouse's always giving him opportunities where his choices do matter. This isn't really a theory, it's more of a true statement, so it'll just go and confirmed. And that was all the theories. If you want to check out any of these theories, the links to them will be in the description. Thanks for watching all the way till the end. I know I don't usually do Deltarune, but I kinda wanted to branch out. Make sure to hit the subscribe button.